This video is not meant to insult or body shame anyone. Instead, this is meant to be informative and educational about what makes a person attractive, with the help of science. Since beauty is a touchy subject, you should not watch this video if you believe in looks don't matter. It's all about having a good heart and personality. People are looking for advice to make themselves look better and to improve their social and dating life. In this video, we will be providing some genuine advice on how to increase your attractiveness. We will take the help of editing software to help you understand how these glow-up methods work, and the information available on what makes a person attractive. There are some Reddit pages where people submit their photos for a rating and glow-up advice, and in most cases, the advice is either incomplete or useless. We are going to take this female for our video. She is 22 years old and she mentions she is 20 kilograms overweight. Now we all know that fat influences our attractiveness, and we quote from a study, facial adiposity has consistently been linked to perceptions of attractiveness and health, with heavier faces being judged to be more unattractive and unhealthier. It mainly happens due to your facial features get hidden under a layer of fat, which makes your look unattractive. But that's not the case in her situation. We can see her bone structure very clearly. Now we do agree that her face is a little bit bloated, and she will look better when she loses weight. But we would say her facial fat is not affecting her attractiveness to a great degree. Then she mentioned, thinking about getting rhinoplasty and a surgery to fix my uneven eyes. Also, I am thinking about getting natural microbalding. Any advice please? Also rating. We would say that she is close enough to understand what's wrong with her face, which makes her face below average. She mentioned getting a rhinoplasty, which is definitely a good investment. Her nose looks masculine, which affects her midface. There are certain differences between a male and a female face. Males' noses are larger and slightly more prominent than female noses. The nasal bases are typically wider in male noses, and the nasal bridge is usually straight or slightly arched. Even if a male nose is slightly crooked, it still won't affect their attractiveness to a great degree, considering they have other good facial features. But in females, having a slightly unideal nose can negatively affect attractiveness. Moving on to her eyes, she mentioned that her eyes are uneven. The only unevenness that we found in her eyes is her upper eyelid exposure. Her right eye has more upper eyelid exposure than her left eye, but this doesn't affect her attractiveness to a great degree. She technically does have asymmetry in her upper eyelids. But overall her eyes don't look asymmetrical. In fact, every good-looking individual has some kind of facial asymmetry. If you look at any individual, they will have asymmetry, whether in their jaws, eyes, nose, and so on. But this doesn't mean that symmetry doesn't matter. Symmetry does play an important role in determining your attractiveness. Here we are talking about small asymmetry, that we can't figure out unless we put an effort to find asymmetry in a face. Barbara Palvin and Marlon Teixeira have the same upper eyelid asymmetry as her, but their eyes are still really attractive. Your eye attractiveness is determined by certain factors such as inner pupillary distance, scleral show, upper eyelid exposure, and others. We will be making a video about eyes in the future. There are some differences that make eyes feminine or masculine. Rounder, larger eyes with upper eyelid exposure are considered feminine. On the other hand, deep-set eyes, with little upper eyelid exposure are considered masculine. Now if we look at her eyes, they appear to be tired. It can be mainly due to two reasons, either it's scleral show or it's the canthal tilt. Then we move on to microbalding. We don't think it will be effective in improving her attractiveness. Hold on, we will be explaining that in a minute. What advice would actually be effective in increasing her beauty? The very first thing we noticed when we looked at her face, is that her face is a little bit masculine. We all know that males prefer feminine faces and females prefer masculine faces, and different facial features portray a feminine or a masculine face. Having a strong, wide, prominent jaw and angular jaw is a masculine feature. On the other hand, having a smaller, narrower lower third is a feminine feature. She has a wide lower third, which gives her a masculine look. And having masculine features as a female can reduce attractiveness. In general, females have softer, rounder contours, and less prominent chin and jaws. To fix this, we are going to reduce her mandibular width and prominence. We are also going to reduce the whole mandible, including the chin, both vertically and horizontally, to give her a feminine appeal, with the help of editing software, of course. To get this result in real life, jaw reduction surgery is the only option. Jaw reduction or mandible angle reduction is a type of surgery to narrow the lower one-third of the face, particularly the contribution from the mandible and its muscular attachments. Now there are females with wide jaws, and they are pretty much considered attractive. Having a narrow lower third is more of an Asian beauty standard, but everyone is different and having a slightly narrow jaw is the best option for her. Wide square jaws in women do make the face appear more masculine, just like hooded eyes in women make them a little bit more masculine. Moving on to the next piece of advice, our eyes influence our facial attractiveness to a great degree. Slight deviations in the eye area can completely change the look of your face. As we mentioned before, there are different factors affecting eye shape. In her case, we would say her inner pupillary distance, scleral show, upper eyelid exposure, her eye shape both vertically and horizontally are fairly good. But if we look at her contal tilt, it's slightly negative, and it's the only reason why her eyes look tired. To fix this, we used software that changed her contal tilt, and as we can see, her eyes completely changed. She doesn't have the tired look anymore, and obviously, her attractiveness increased. To achieve this in real life, we have a surgery available named almond eye surgery. Almond eye surgery creates slightly higher lateral canthus, with the lower eyelid sitting just at the lower border of the iris without any scleral showing. In other words, the outer corner of the eye and colored part of the eyeball have white showing under the iris. This normally results in a positive canthal tilt or upward slant, creating an eye shaped like an almond. Canthoplasty surgery is used to correct canthal tilts that are negative or neutral and causes sagging eyelids, which may be causing distress to the patient who does not like the appearance of their eyelids. If you guys can guess, this is the same procedure that Bella Hadid had done to make canthal more positive, aka giving her cat eyes look. In extreme cases, it will likely require lower eyelid retraction surgery with canthoplasty and possibly upper eyelid ptosis surgery to have effective, safe, long-lasting results. Canthoplasty by itself will not work. Our next advice would be to fix her nose. In females, the nose is one of the most important facial features. Without getting into complicated terms, generally in females, a shorter, smaller upturned nose is considered attractive. To make her nose look more feminine, we reduced her alar, radix, nose tip, and made her nose narrower. And we can instantly see a change in her facial attractiveness. To achieve this in real life, she will need a rhinoplasty with the exact same reduction as we mentioned. Rhinoplasty, commonly referred to as a nose job, is surgery to change the shape of your nose by modifying the bone or cartilage. It is also one of the most common cosmetic surgery. Most celebrities and models have done this procedure to improve their appearance. Our next advice would be to change her eye color. We mentioned in our previous videos that eye shape is more important than your color. Once you achieve an attractive eye shape, then only you should focus on eye color. We all know light eyes are considered attractive, and having light eyes can make a big difference in terms of determining your attractiveness. We changed her eye color to blue using software, but it doesn't appear natural due to the pictures being low quality. To achieve this in real life, there is currently two safe options. We have colored contact lenses and laser depigmentation. Other options such as iris implants are not safe at all, and you should stay away from them. The laser procedure uses a low-energy laser beam that passes through the clear cornea of the eye and slightly heats the brown pigment on the front surface of the iris, the colored part of the eye. This heating starts a process that removes the brown pigment and reveals the underlying blue or green eye. Admin 2 is having laser depigmentation to change his eye color in the future. We would definitely document and share his progress with you. Moving on to non-surgical advice, the very first advice would be to lose her weight, and there is nothing new to say about it. We all know how body fat affects facial and bodily attractiveness. Our next advice would be to trim and shape her eyebrows. Micro-balding would not be effective in her case. It would look uncanny on her. Trimming can be done by any professional. We would suggest exactly copy-paste this eyebrow style for better results. If the desired shape is not achieved, then micro-balding can be an option. Our next advice would be to have a skin and hair care routine. Skincare includes ingredients such as azelaic acid, retinoids, chemical exfoliators, sunscreens, etc. to achieve glowing skin. Her skin is fairly good, so it's not that important. Having a hair care routine including hair thickening products, and changing the hairstyle, we just have a single picture of her, so it would be difficult for us to suggest a hairstyle. But we think long straight hair would look the best. We also dyed her hair a lighter color to complement her eyes and skin color. Again, we can't comment on hair color much because we just have a single picture of her, where her hair is pulled back. Our next advice would be to use castor oil on eyelashes, or to use fake eyelashes and makeup to further increase eye attractiveness. Also, makeup can be done to increase attractiveness for a temporary period. And lastly, use clothes properly. We are not a big believer in clothes. If you are unattractive, wearing the most expensive ones would not boost your attractiveness in the slightest form. But we would suggest wearing clothes that fit. Wearing clothes that display your body or curves and breasts would be the best to increase sexual attractiveness. There are some limitations to this advice. The very first limitation would be that the morph doesn't reflect the actual results. Generally, the real-life results are better than the morph. In other words, if she does these procedures, she will look a lot better than the morph. We could have given more advice if we know what her body looks like, what her side profile looks like, what her smile looks like. We don't know about her height, or her location, we just have a single low-quality picture of her, etc. These things do influence attractiveness to a great degree, as we explained in our previous video. In females, bodily attractiveness plays a big role in short-term relationships. Studies show that body ratios are strong predictors of attractiveness. In females, big breasts, wide hips, and low body fat percentage are signs of youth and fertility. We could have advised more methods if we knew the above-mentioned information. And the last limitation is the lack of the latest editing software. We could have used the best editing software that is available in the current market to further determine what's needed to fix, to increase attractiveness. But we didn't do it because our channel isn't monetized, and we hope you guys know the best software charges money to use their features. We are not ready to invest money from our personal accounts, since there isn't any motive for profit. In the end, all content creators on this platform are here with a motive to earn profit. But even if she takes this advice, her attractiveness would increase drastically, and she can see a huge improvement in her dating and social life. We put her picture on our Instagram story and asked if she improved or not, and most males agreed that she improved. We also asked for a rating and they said she jumped from 3 to 6. Make sure to follow us on Instagram to know what we are bringing on YouTube and for other valuable information. Since lots of people are asking us for glow-up advice, attractiveness rating, and identification of facial features. And we just can't provide services to each individual without the motive of any profit, because each analysis takes a lot of time. We have other things to do in our life. And we just can't provide the BS advice that most people provide on Reddit, even some big YouTubers in the community. So we released some services combining the latest software, studies, data, and our experiences in the dating market to analyze you. It will provide you ratings, facial and body assessments, genuine advice to increase your attractiveness fast and effective, before and after morphs of your face, and much more. The link will be in the description.